Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person, and I do have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, weekly live group coaching, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and a lot more. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that many of you, when you are in your journey of manifesting your specific person, seem to forget. And in a nutshell, that one thing, which is one of the most fundamental things of manifesting anything, especially an SP, is that your SP, your specific person, is you pushed out. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So a lot of people write in my comments, or they come for coaching, or they ask me questions on my members channel where we do our group coaching. And so many of these questions, even though they pertain to different situations, seem to have the same common denominator. My SP is not conforming. My SP did or said that, or didn't say that, or didn't do that. My SP is not changing. I've been manifesting for X amount of time and I'm not seeing a change in the 3D. Or I'm seeing hot and cold. Or I'm seeing changes here and there, and then things go back to the old story, and so on. And the common denominator, you guys, in all of these questions, all these complaints, if you will, is that the SP, the specific person, is viewed as separate from the person. And that also goes, by the way, not just for complaints about your SP or that the 3D is not changing and so on. It also goes for things like experiencing doubts, being triggered by the 3D, experiencing anxiety over your SP manifestation, experiencing a lot of mental and emotional ups and downs, and so on. All of these things, you guys, have the one and same common denominator, and that is that you are viewing things from the eyes of separation. And when I say separation, I don't mean separation in terms of being a couple and then being separated. I mean it in terms of universal laws. I mean it in terms of spiritual law. You are not, at least in that moment, recognizing oneness. You are not seeing yourself as one with everything in the universe, everyone in the universe, and as such, also your specific person. You are viewing your specific person as separate from you, as someone who has completely their own mind, who is not connected to you in any way, energetically, in consciousness, and so on. You see them as someone completely separate from you, making their own decisions, deciding for themselves, perhaps deciding to ignore you, perhaps deciding to not care about you, and so on. Well, you view yourself not as the operant power that you are, not as the inner creative power that you have, but instead as someone who is helpless, someone who is disempowered, someone who is just hoping for the best with their SP, but does not feel that they can do something to change the situation. And so all of this, as I just said, comes from viewing things from the eyes of separation, viewing the world, and as such viewing your SP from the eyes of separation. You feel separate from your SP, you feel that your SP is separate from you, you react to the 3D because you are blind, or at the very least you're forgetting your own operant power. You're forgetting that you are one with the entire universe, you're forgetting that you are one with your SP, and as such that your SP is always, no exceptions, you pushed out. What that means is that they are a reflection of what your dominant assumptions are, your dominant expectations are of them and of the situation and of the relationship. And if you're being very honest with yourself, you're going to admit that you are still attached to the old version of them, the version that you knew before, instead of using your imagination productively to view them as the ideal version of themselves that you want to experience, and instead engage and interact with that version of them in your imagination, in your consciousness, in your mind. So when you find yourself in states where you're complaining about the 3D, about them not changing, about your SP not doing what you want them to do, not conforming, or when you're experiencing things like anxiety, doubts, second-guessing everything, and so on, know and remember that in that moment, in that state, you are in a state of perceiving separation, perceiving the world as separate from you, perceiving your SP as not one with you, but instead as separate from you, distinct from you, and in no way being you pushed out, which is actually what the case is. So the beautiful thing about realizing this and remembering this on the daily, if you can, is that having this knowledge, having this understanding that there is always oneness with your specific person and it cannot be any other way, that really helps put you back on track. If you're falling off track, if you are starting to react too much to the 3D, if you're starting to be too concerned, too anxious, too stressed, the 3D perhaps starts feeling like a mountain that you cannot climb, the circumstances feel insurmountable, and so on. Knowing and remembering the principle of oneness, knowing and remembering the principle of non-separation with your specific person, knowing and remembering that your SP is always, no exceptions, you pushed out. To say it in more clear terms, your assumptions and your expectations and your energy pushed out. Then this, you guys, cuts out all the unnecessary resistance from your mind, because it reminds you and it takes you back into the actual reality, which is you are the operant power, your SP is your mirror, is your reflection, is you pushed out. There is no separation, there is no distinction between the two of you, at least in terms of consciousness, in terms of energetic connection. And as such, you are never at any point powerless, you are never at any point helpless, you are never at any point disempowered, you are never at any point unable to turn things around through turning your consciousness around and making those inner shifts and that inner movement, as Neville Goddard called it, within your mind, within your consciousness, with the knowing and with the expectation that your SP is going to follow. They have to follow. They are your mirror. They are your reflection, always. So this is it, you guys. Every time you fall into the trap of reacting to the 3D because the 3D is not changing, your SP is not conforming, your SP is not changing to the version that you want, ask yourself, are you viewing your SP as you yourself pushed out, or are you instead viewing them from the eyes of separation? Are you viewing them as one with you, energetically connected with you, one in consciousness with you? Or are you viewing them as someone completely independent, completely foreign to you in a way, and as someone who perhaps will never conform, will never change, and so on? Resolving that issue, resolving that illusion of separation, resolves all other issues with it. Because all other issues that we face when we're manifesting a specific person come from viewing the world, viewing your specific person from the eyes of separation. When you adopt and accept oneness instead as your main principle and as your main concept in your consciousness, you will see how many, if not all, of all those other issues are going to be resolved. Once you accept that your SP is you pushed out, all else becomes irrelevant. All resistance resolves. All your doubts, your fears, your insecurities go away and no longer bother you because they're no longer relevant to you. So start viewing reality from the eyes of oneness, start viewing your SP from the eyes of oneness and the point of view of non-separation, and you will see what difference this is going to make in your manifesting and how fast you're going to see results. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.